For some reason, anthropomorphic characters of the 90s often had a way of connecting with many people. Many people on the spectrum are drawn to Sonic the Hedgehog in particular. And this may sound odd to you, but I'm not just pulling this idea out of nowhere. It's actually a well-documented phenomenon known as the Sonic phenomenon. People on the spectrum, both children and adults, often have a strong affinity for the Sonic the Hedgehog series, myself included since I was 6. Not every person on the spectrum is a fan, but many are. And why is that? Well, let's unpack that. The Sonic games, the gameplay and the characters themselves often tend to catch our interest. The quote-unquote Sonic phenomenon is actually one of the most well-studied examples of cross-generational autistic special interests. Let's start with the games themselves. Many of the Sonic games are about mastering patterns. For example, running through Green Hill Zone or Emerald Hill Zone at top speed for your fastest time, or in the 3D games, continually repeating a level till you get S rank. Any of that sound familiar? Sonic games are also more structured than many other games, and that really appeals to many autistic minds. Unlike, say, an open world game like Grand Theft Auto 5, which might feel chaotic and overwhelming at times, most Sonic games are highly structured, and that can be less overwhelming and tiring for the autistic mind. In classic Sonic, for example, your goal is to get from left to right. You can also optionally finish the special stages, which often rewards you with Super Sonic to master the levels at even faster, more efficient speeds. And yeah, from childhood I've repeated classic Sonic 2 and 3 levels endlessly. And it's a relaxing time for me to just play through those levels as an adult. And in my teens, I would run the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 levels repeatedly, either trying to get that perfect time for an S rank on every level, or just trying to collect animals for my chow. Sonic's attitude itself is also very appealing to an autistic person like me. When a giant, intimidating robot appears or a crisis strikes, Sonic doesn't freeze in panic. Anxiety never overtakes him. He gives a confident smirk, shrugs his shoulders, and rushes forward.
You've turned into a big-time villain, Doctor!
He's what I always wanted to be. I keep a picture of his iconic smirk in the dark right on my desktop, because whenever I see those green eyes with that grinning smile, I'm just like, he's got this, and it makes me feel more confident too seeing it. Sonic also does something constantly that many of us autistic people can appreciate. He completely rejects societal expectations. And damn did I appreciate that as a child.
I'm waiting!
He doesn't care about fitting in. He doesn't alter his personality to please authority figures. Sonic is absolutely 100% authentically himself at all times. And that has always been one of the most liberating things I've seen in a character. Sonic's a fantasy to me of zero-masking freedom. He runs through the world entirely on his own terms, unbothered by what strangers think of him. I also asked other autistic people why they like Sonic, such as XJ May. I think the Sonic games are great to hyperfixate on. At first it can be frustrating, but once you get good, they become extremely fun to blitz through at breakneck speeds. You kind of reach a flow state. I know Sonic Rush and 2 like the back of my hand, and speeding through them is fun. This was an important point to me. Even nowadays, when there's a million different games available to us, I don't tend to play a million different games. I tend to hyperfixate on 1 or 2 games and play them repeatedly, like I would with Sonic games as a kid. No one mentioned this, but I noticed another secret to Sonic games' formula. Unlike many other games, they have always been forgiving, and that's a good thing. Other games do thrive on repetition, but few are nearly as forgiving as Sonic. What do I mean? Well, Sonic games have a ring system, which was completely like most other games at the time, which had a health system. You can always be interrupted with losing your rings, and it does stink to lose that flow, but you can generally just pick them up again and get back to flying through the level. You're not permanently shrunk down because you made a mistake and immediately killed if you dare get hit again. With Sonic, you tear through the level. It's okay if you make a mistake, and once you've repeated the patterns of bosses, you can tear through Robotnik within literal seconds. I mean, look at Mega Man games. You do get better at them on repetition, but they're deeply unforgiving by comparison to Sonic. I could never get into them because I would get so emotionally frustrated. Same with Mario, 1 to 2 hits and you're out. But in Sonic, it's always been okay for me to make a mistake. I just pick up some rings, I get back up and keep running. Now let's talk about these characters. Why are they autism friendly? Well, in the real world, many people on the spectrum find real-world socializing exhausting because human expressions, hidden agendas, and changing social scripts are difficult for us to pass. But in Sonic, it's easy. Characters tend to have big and expressive eyes. You can look at a character like Sonic or Shadow and get a good idea of their emotional state and moral boundaries. The Sonic characters also haven't varied much in their personalities since they first started talking in 1998. Amy had a bit of a shake-up from Sonic CD to Sonic Adventure, but otherwise the characters have stayed very similar for 28 years. Why is that important? Well, the predictability is appreciated by many people in the spectrum because it lowers our social fatigue. Few people in Sonic games are wearing social masks, so there's not much we have to decode. Knuckles is Knuckles, Amy is Amy, and Sonic is Sonic. And I appreciate that.
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog!
But despite the clearly transparent characters, autistic brains also appreciate the surprisingly vast amounts of lore to this hedgehog. From the endless games, to the many iterations of cartoons, to the 30 years of comics, so many comics.
Oh, they just keep going.
There's always been some new way for me to experience Sonic's character for almost my whole life. The color aesthetic of Sonic is also very autism friendly. I adore Sonic's signature blue. It's sharp, it's vibrant, and like many other Sonic characters, it's like candy to many minds on the spectrum. The bright red of Knuckles, the vivid pink of Amy, the saturated orange of Tails, and this color scheme even extends to the levels. Look at all those vivid colors of Green Hill, those bright checkerboard patterns, saturated blues and greens. Compare it to Super Mario on SNES. That game looked so boring by comparison. The gameplay's incredible, yeah, there's nothing like it, but to me it was boring to look at compared to Sonic. As much as I think the Green Hill has been overdone to death, it still gives me a little warmth and happy chemicals just seeing it. That tropical island setting, those gorgeous waters, I think that love of those strong color aesthetics is part of why the shiny blue of Thomas the Tank Engine appeals to some people on the spectrum as well. For many autistic people, Sonic's world provides an immersive sensory experience that is a form of emotional regulation and stress relief. There's the autism-friendly shapes, the movement, even the music appeals to many autistic people. The soundtrack of the Sonic Mega Drive games will play through my head till the day I die. Hell, I've endlessly used Sonic music in my videos for the last 13 freaking years. I've never been a big rock and roll fan, but the light rock and roll of modern Sonic games has always been the perfect balance for me. Songs like Live and Learn or Open Your Heart are made so it's not too loud, but it's still intense enough where you want to move. I also spoke to a friend on this subject, a fellow autistic YouTuber who has also been a gigantic Sonic fan since he was a kid. Up, my friend, why do you think people on the spectrum often like Sonic?
Hey Strider, how are you doing? Well, apart from the reasons you mentioned, like easily readable designs and expressions, it delivers on sensory stimulating action that you'd typically find in projects like Dragon Ball Z, but with pets. Even with more humanoid designs and personalities, animals are just inherently a comfort.
That is a good point. Many neurodivergent people have a strong connection with animals and can find some animals comforting. I often find it much less work to be around animals than people.
See me now, I hate animals. Dogs especially, man.
Oh, pup, you know sarcasm is the lowest form of wit.
I sure do, Strider. Why the f*** am I 3D? Sonic characters express themselves in unique ways, but they generally service the theme of justice. Sonic is fundamentally kind to the downtrodden and oppressed, which extends to his role in Tails' backstory, where he was bullied for his extra tail. As the central pillar of the cast, Sonic makes justice seem effortless in a way that we wish it could be in the real world. His friends only complement that further, but the villains also directly play into those themes, with Eggman serving as the manifestation of man's folly effectively, determined to transform beautiful landscapes and ecosystems into his own trashy amusement park. He reflects the kind of real-world injustice that plays on the minds of many thoughtful and empathetic people on the spectrum.
Yeah, their motivations are pretty much clear from the start. I remember you also mentioned the characters are relatable to many people on the spectrum too.
Absolutely. Many of the characters have the kinds of boundaries exhibited by people on the spectrum. Knuckles enjoys his solitude, and it's noted that he's not a fan of bright lights, suggesting sensory sensitivity. We've also seen Eggman exploit Knuckles' empathy on numerous occasions. It's established in Dark Beginnings that Shadow feels at odds with his own biology.
I may look like a hedgehog, but I'm really no different than this thing,
which actively hinders his sense of belonging and his ability to make connections.
I don't know if there's a place for me on Earth.
We also see examples of black and white thinking as he wants to burn the world down in the face of injustice after what happened to Maria. Blaze the cat is shown to be introverted until she's taking on a different persona for Amy's birthday party, and then she comes out of her shell, suggesting she's more comfortable masking. I think people on the spectrum would benefit from a friend like Amy Rose though, who is candid and clear at all times and wears her heart on her sleeve. She's very easy to read. And if we look at Sonic himself, the main man, he's very guarded with his emotions and tends to prefer solitude and rest to socialization. Simply put, Sonic characters make autistic traits look cool.
Damn, yeah, looking back, you're right. As a kid, I related to Sonic never getting involved in the party and just single-mindedly focusing on his goal. And I seriously related to Knuckles being bad with sunlight and just avoiding social interactions altogether. Thanks for your thoughts on this, Pop.
Happy to help, Strider.
Did you know Sonic is technically an autistic people's genes? As there is a gene called the Sonic the Hedgehog gene, a very important gene for embryonic development. Studies from Science Direct and the National Institute of Health have found that autistic children have higher levels of the Sonic the Hedgehog protein. Sonic the Hedgehog protein correlates with being on the autism spectrum. How wild is that? So at least if someone ever asks me why I'm on the autism spectrum, I can just say, well, I had too much Sonic the Hedgehog in me. And with that said, well, you really think they want to know? Oh, alright. You might be wondering, why is a Sonic the Hedgehog gene called Sonic the Hedgehog? Well, scientists first discovered the Sonic gene in fruit flies, and the mutation in the fly caused the embryo to grow spiky, prickly hairs. I don't know if they started eating chili dogs though, so they called it the Sonic the Hedgehog gene. Plus, you know, I think a lot of scientists are autistic too. Before we wrap up today and I read the names of my top tier patrons, I wanted to share something with you I learned recently that's helped settle my anxiety a bit. Growing up, I spent many years believing a toxic rule that if I ever felt tired, raw, or overwhelmed, I was just simply making excuses for myself. But today, I think I understand a little better. Honoring your own sensory fatigue, being willing to slow down and listen to your body, that's not a sign of weakness, that's a sign of intelligence. It's okay to step into your own quiet recovery space. Productivity doesn't define your worth. You don't have to be a perfect machine to be worthy of absolute safety and dignity. You have full permission to just be you, because you are more than enough. All that said, thank you for just being here to the end of the video and offering me some of your time. Thanks for watching, and whether you see me again or not, I hope you just see Sonic again. And as well as a big thank you to all my patrons, and extra thanks to these top tier patrons. Anna Jones, Phoenix Star YT, John Bondi, Angel Angeline, Free Cat Day, Pixel Poppy, Katie Ann Dalton, The Furry of Fury, Miss Osseous, Joseph Bowers, Jordan McCann, Chandler Amethyst, Megan Bruns, The Hug Wizard, Rayan Graves, Satin Yoshi, Dassin, Joe Ferry, Mewtwo Shadow FNAF Girl, Jacket Omega, Kelly Bisson, Neil Speed, and of course Cozzy Spice.